So here's the deal. My plan was to, because the game is deterministic, or at least I think it is, the plan was to go back to the autosave and then do the exact same fight again. And after that fight, watch back my recording and input every single attack the way it had been done in the recording until I got to the point where I misclicked and then not do the misclick. But weirdly, no matter what I do now, this is his army formation. And before, you'll remember, the hero was standing here, not here. So we had like a 1 in a million organization of his troops, or it's dependent upon, it resets every time the game loads, I guess could be another possibility. A new seed is generated every time you reload the game, potentially. So, in other words, I can't go back to where I was. So my options are to restart the scenario, to restart the campaign, or restart from here and redo the fight, or not let myself do the fight attack here. Another option is every time I lose, I could go back to the start of the recording session and redo the recording. Like, you guys would still get to see it, but I would just redo from turn 25, I think it was, instead of doing the fight again. For now, I'm just going to redo the fight. I wouldn't normally redo a fight if that I lost, but because I did lose my hero, even if I did lose a hero or something, but because a misclick cost me the fight, a single misclick cost me the game, doesn't feel right to me. So, or yeah, and normally I would keep a misclick, right? If a misclick lost me my mature shock serpent, like you saw it get lost, or if it lost me one of my spiders, no matter their rank, play ball. If I lost a hero and didn't end the game, play ball. But the thing that happened here was I lost my hero. I lost the game to a misclick, and that feels like it could be an exception to the reload if you lose rule, or restart if you lose rule. I'm not sure. If you think that I'm doing this wrong and I need to restart, let me know. Or in the future if I need to restart. And like, it feels wrong to me to not just, because I am very much an Iron Man type player. So it feels wrong to me to just keep going, but maybe I need to learn to relax a little. So I'm going to give this a shot and see how I feel afterwards. If I feel terrible, I'll know for the future. And, but yeah, I can't think of another solution so far. Also, I noticed in the recording, because first time I've really looked at the recordings, my voice is a little bit, I don't know, it sounds a little buzzy almost. I'm not sure what the right term, it doesn't sound bad exactly, but it doesn't sound like my voice. And also the color is slightly washed out compared to what I'm seeing. So if anyone has any ideas about what that's about, I'd love to hear them. And I am tempted to just let myself lose, lose a bunch of units during the course of this fight to, you know, punish myself in quotation marks for getting to redo the fight. Because, you know, I did have that one major loss where I lost the mature shock serpent, so I'm tempted to just send it in to die. But that kind of defeats the point of reloading in the first place. I'd much rather do something fun if I were to punish myself. Like, for instance, I lost to a great orc greatsword, so give orc greatswords hero slaying or something like that, or rename them to be Sundering Slayers. You know, just something that's more fun than self-flagellation. I personally very easily fall into self-flagellation type things. Yeah, where I punish myself for having fun wrong, you know? I think there is an aspect to trying to keep try to keep yourself on your toes, live with your mistakes, even if it's a misclick. But this was a misclick of the sort of slipping off the wrong button. Like, it's very easy to switch abilities mid-click. The scale was disproportionate. It's like how, what's the game? So there's 2 monster hunters there, so I did just send my serpents to die again. Which I didn't want to do on purpose. I can do something about that. I'll send my penguins up to be bait. Yeah, I guess my main problem, how I normally do a lot of stuff is I allow myself to be punished for my sloppiness, and so it's a reminder: don't play sloppy. You know, if you're feeling out of it, just don't play. But then I don't play as much, and I wonder if that's actually the right way to go about things. You know, I overthink things, but there is a value, I believe, in learning to live with your mistakes rather than simply wish they didn't exist and wish them away with a reload. It's kind of unnatural, this ability computers give us. And I do wonder if it leads to a lack of acceptance of... You know, let's say you get really angry and you kick your dog, okay? A very negative example. Maybe your dog deserves it. If a dog ever could. But, you know, you get very angry and kick your dog. You say, well, I'm not a person that kicks my dog. I lost control. I don't know why, but, you know, this is a thing that happened. But I'm not that person, right? But the thing is, you are. You are the person that kicked your dog. And that's the only place you can move from. Now, once you've accepted that's who you are, you know, the playing field's yours to do what you want with that information. But before that moment, you do have to live with what you have done. Well, even after that moment. I'm playing terribly right now. But how to put it? There's a blog. He's called The Last Psychiatrist. And one of the things, what is that ability of him? Oh, just everything. That's why I was able to take on my my spider. One of the things The Last Psychiatrist talks about is how you don't get to be the story you tell others about yourself. You are your actions. So if you kick your dog, you're a dog kicker. Now that doesn't mean that you're irredeemable. And that doesn't mean you do it regularly, but it means you did it. And until you accept that, you're going to do it again and again and again. And every time you'll say, well, that's not me. And you'll never get anywhere. So he tells a story about, well, it's a little dark, but it's basically a man murdered his daughter and then said, oh, I'm a good person. Because, you know, besides murdering his daughter, he's a good person. And so he never accepted the thing he had done. He never allowed that to enter his framework of the person he was. And so, those dogs, you know, no change ever would happen in that circumstance. And on a much, you know, less dark level, you know, people say, oh, I'm a writer. So, okay, how many books have you written? Where are they? How many copies have they sold? You know, you don't get... It's like, well, you know, I sit around in coffee shops and I have these great ideas. Like, those ideas aren't books. And, you know, I think about that sometimes where, you know, I've written a book, but I wonder, like, okay, you've written a book, where are the sales? And what does that mean? And this isn't to beat yourself up. No, the sales don't matter as much, maybe, unless you say, like, I live off my writing or something, I guess. If that's the story you want to tell yourself. It's like, yeah, I live off my writing and the goodwill of, like, my rich parents or whatever it might be. But I'm about to lose so many units I didn't want to lose. You know what I said about not punishing myself? Oh, you just get so careless when you have to redo everything. Man. Um... Monster hunters are still a problem. The part where I lose Sundern again. I can actually get back my serpents. But yeah, the idea is that you are what you produce. And it sounds like, well, I'm so much more than that. Like, you know, I have these ideas and dreams and these aspirations, and I'll, you know, I'm a loving friend, and I love the environment and everything like that. It's like, okay, when you're, look at it this way, maybe. When your obituary comes up in the paper because you were hit by a, you know, a tree falling off of a roof. I don't know. It'll say, John, 27, plumber, died from falling tree. Or it'll even just say plumber, killed by falling tree. You know? And, that's not, oh, life sucks and it's negative. That's actually just, this is what is, and the sooner you start living as if that is what is, the happier you'll be, and the less narcissistic you'll be, because you won't be trying to make reality conform to what you want it to be, to your story that the made-up story you tell about reality. Ready to watch some spiders die? Okay, kill the node serpent. I'm much happier about that, actually. And I would like my serpent back. Thank you. Oh, this is so horrible. You know, like right now, I want to restart this fight entirely. Just say, well, that doesn't count because this is the redo fight, and I messed up on the redo fight. But the point isn't to have a good fight, and that's where I don't like having. That's where I don't want to have redos at all. Oh, you did poorly on the fight? Well, you did poorly on the fight. Because, oh yeah, what I was getting at before I got into my sort of side tangent, was if I only try to play when I'm at my top and at the peak of my game, then I won't play. Because I'll always be worried, oh, I could be feeling a little better. You know, I got a bit of a headache, or, oh, or, okay, my throat's a bit off, and that'll be distracting me. And, you know, recording, it halves your brain power right there. So this is true of, like, you know, you record a song and you're like, I can just never get it right. It takes like 20 tries to get a song you could play easily if no one was watching. And so with that, reloading under specific circumstances, like I lose due to a misclick, would allow me to play more often and get up more videos. In some way, it can become a form of procrastination because you're like, well, I'm not feeling perfect right now, so I won't do it. And you know, it's nice to pursue only acting at your it's nice to pursue the activities whereby you live with your mistakes. But you also need to be out there making mistakes. And if you're living with mistakes leads you to the situation where you're living in fear and you just don't make any mistakes, that's even worse. So ideally, you're making lots of mistakes and you're living with them and you're moving on. But you could say one of the mistakes is living with a misclick is I just play again, even though, or I just redo the battle even though I not have redone a battle. It's kind of maybe an overthinking of the whole thing. But yeah, there we go. That's the battle redone. I'll tidy up the rest of this later. I just wanted to come back and redo that battle, and we took some pretty severe losses there, but okay, I'm back. So we had that mess where Sundern died due to a misclick. Then I wasn't able to undo it because something changed somewhere along the line. And so I redid that fight, and this is where we are. And yeah, I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but you know, this is a thing that I guess time will tell. We'll see how we go as we go. And yeah, I feel bad attacking them after, you know, reloading to redo the fight, but if I made the decision to reload, I have to live with it, right? And that includes attacking them. I just keep thinking, oh, I'll cast this, but no, I have to do this fight first, probably. Okay. And yeah, again, if I lose in the normal way, I'm happy to keep it, but that was a weird circumstance. And if I do lose in a normal way, that was easily avoidable, just because I was being completely careless. I'm not sure what to do. Because again, it's that reloading feels bad, but so does... Well, I don't know. It was actually fine when I restarted the scenario. It was kind of fun, because I knew where everything was. I could just blitz through it, I guess. And I got all these spider queens that I didn't have before, which is neat. Because if I'm reloading all the time, it encourages me to, oh, I'll just move forward and try for the charm, and if I fail, I'll just reload when I die from it, you know? Because now it feels... But then maybe that means I have more... You know, I have more fun if I'm playing a bit more loose. Hard to say. You're not killing those, eh? No. And, okay, one thing I did between episodes was I fixed the kobolds to give them evolve, but like I said, these guys won't have it, but the next new kobolds that spawn will. But yeah, I looked into it. Kobolds hadn't been touched. In fact, there wasn't even the resource pack opened for the kobolds in my mod, which I think probably means at some point it accidentally got deleted, which would be quite the shame if that was what happened. But yeah, there was no unit for them to evolve into, and they had no alterations to them whatsoever. So I made a new unit for them to evolve into, and I hooked it up so they will evolve into them. But it's not finished entirely. They're just sort of a placeholder unit more than anything. But I couldn't... I don't want to push myself because it is pretty hard on your hands doing the modding for this game, for whatever reason. I guess it's basically you're looking at an Excel spreadsheet with tiny little folders, and everything needs to be reset every time you reload it, so you're constantly dragging in windows and trying to make everything fit. Spider needs a bit of healing. And if I rush those... Do they have... Okay, they have the great swords. They don't have the hunters. That was the problem, I think, with yesterday's second fight, was they got 2 hunters in their army instead of 1, and that really took my army to pieces. These guys need a lot of healing to get back on their feet. Okay, if I charge forward, the orcs can't attack. However, I could get surround. I could still get attacked by 3 or 4 groups of elves. Yeah, I think slow and steady is the play here. And shock serpents should be pretty safe from the initiates. But there is the risk of... Ooh, these guys need healing as well. Did I give him the heal? Okay, I'm going to give him the heal spell as soon as I can. There is still the risk of... just getting overwhelmed by the great swords or something for the shock serpents. Okay. I think I'll move up, but not go crazy with it. And same over here. Just give them something to respect. Sundrin. Again, I don't want to get killed, but I can maybe do something like that. Okay. So, those are vulnerable and will probably get killed, but at least they'll be attacking them instead of me. Going. Was that 15 damage? Wow. Are you okay? 36 health left. Okay, you're still alive for now. That is slightly concerning. Just lose again, right off the bat. First few minutes. You know, if I lose near the end of the episode, you know, I'm tired and I'm not thinking as straight, it's like, yeah, okay. You know, you can sort of see it. But you lose right at the start and you set the tone for the day. But again, I don't want to become afraid of playing. But maybe rather than making it so I can't lose, I just accept loss, you know? That's another way to avoid... Well, you don't avoid the fear, but you overcome it with courage, I guess. It sounds silly for something as trite as a little video game, but... well, there's a philosophy that... It's not about video games, it's about dreams. But the idea is that what you do in your dreams is how you act in real life. So if you were presented with the same situation you were in your dreams, you would act that way as you did in your dreams, if it happened in real life. And I think if you agree with that framing... Okay, so 2 good shots, 2 crits like the last time would kill him, so he's getting out of there. So with video games, you know, if you become afraid of loss in a video game, you've got the same sort of idea where if you learn to be more and more afraid of loss in a video game, perhaps you learn to be more and more afraid in real life. Maybe it's nonsense. But it sounds right to me, at least. Spiders up. Healing is a little bit away. Who is... Can I finish you off again? None of these creatures are... Oh, they are magical. Because they're summoned. Okay, so my summoned ones, my apprentices, or singular apprentice now because I lost him in the ill-fated yesterday second attempt. I can do stuff with them. I can resurrect one of these initiates for myself. You're gonna wait there until your healing's online. You don't have anything to do. And really, very sundered. Wow. She looks like her mother. What can I say? You know what the other annoying thing about this instant loss condition they've put in the game is? You know, like, resurrect exists. So even if you lose a unit, you don't have to lose it forever, but the moment you lose them, it's over with the campaign, the way they've set it up. It's a bit much. I think, like, if they're dead by the end of the combat, then you lose the campaign would be a bit more reasonable. It's like, what happens if they have resurgence, for instance? Maybe it takes that into account, but it doesn't take into account the fact that you can resurrect units. Nice to get my trolls killing momentum, so I'll start getting some hits in with them. Before everyone dies, where is Trimegistus? High Elf Initiate, I guess, yeah. Okay. So I can finish off the great swords if I want. Yeah, let's get these guys. XP there. And then the vampire spiders could finish that off, but I would like my... Where's my serpent at? Well, I guess my serpent needs to get healed. Move him up. Well, I think that's everything, except for the guy in the net. And I'm just going to wait on that for a moment, just to give a little bit more healing off to this guy. And then, do you guys get that back? No, it's once per battle. If they can reach. You know what? I'll wait a turn even. Let's just get that off. Just start working our way up to getting more mature reed serpents. Okay, we came out pretty well ahead of that, and we got... Yeah, no new units, but that looks a bit nicer. Got ourselves these elves. And we're still we're very much weakened, but I think we're still on track to be attacking this place soon. Maybe not next turn anymore. Especially not with if we're fighting against all these assassins. This army I can take to fight those guys. I am a little injured, but yeah, I think I go for it. He also didn't completely annihilate this town this time around. Now, there's definitely some weirdness going on. I wonder if it's to do with a fight that had some... Well, the fight shouldn't have an aspect of randomness if it was deterministic, but maybe if he won a fight by more than previously, didn't need more troops, and therefore his positioning on the map looked different, and that's why the hero moved differently. I'm gonna... yeah. Well, you can't have an undo button after you've already done like a random roll like this, so... Should really be flanking these before I charge. Avoid a bit of damage. And it's the injured Griffin. Max last, so... Let's see what they do. Okay, that works. What do Griffins get when they level up? They get Tireless. Okay, so they do get... Tireless is the ability, which is basically infinite retaliations. So they do get it already. I didn't add that, that's just... I'm sure the developers of this game have also played Heroes of Might and Magic. Now, if I can sneak... That would be kind of fun, if I can pull that off. I'll wait here, and then if I can grab this before they do next turn. There's probably an invisible unit in there. I don't know why they wouldn't have just taken it. Wait, these guys can just go. Oh, they just didn't take it. Oh, okay. King Griffin egg. That's pretty solid. Or a bunch of gold. I think I will take the egg. And that would be nice on Julia. And the shield gives a defense against non-flanking attacks. So if you're going to attack from the front, that feels like maybe you could do with that. So they cleared it out, but they didn't have enough movement left to take... No, they had movement to take it. They just decided not to take it. This is a very strong army, actually. I might just try to leave a little bit. Yeah, the AI isn't taking treasure sites. They do, like I said, I'm playing a test game as well, and they are taking treasure sites and all that stuff, so no idea what's going on. Right, we're going for this. And you guys are heading back to get me more mana. Beetle I was using to tunnel because I discovered a town of the enemy over there. I'm tempted to attack these guys, but I think I would get overwhelmed. I could attack and retreat, and I would win eventually, but the problem with that is I don't have partisan tactics. And more lead voice room? Or do I think I might need troops. I did take some heavy losses there. Oh. Okay. Okay. See, that's why I wanted to take out that place before that sort of thing happened, but... Alright. The AI has decided to... The neutral AI has decided to start taking matters into their own hands. On the plus side, I think trolls are resistant to blight. Yes, they are. Okay. How do you deal with a dragon? Can dragons get rusty? Because, I don't know, undead something. I need some spells to help with this kind of fight. Okay, we're gonna... spiders need to live. Are the carrion birds faster? No, they're not. Okay. I think the goal... gotta spread out as best I can. The goal will be to web the dragon. If the dragon is webbed, trolls can kill it, and the carrion birds can be dealt with by everyone else. Failing webbing the dragon, I'm just going to flank them until they get tired. They're not tireless. Okay. Got like a club for a jaw, look at that. kind of weird. Like a rib cage on their neck. I don't know, dragon anatomy is weird. That's my takeaway. Okay, let's see what happens. This is gonna be bad. Okay, that was... I think the dragon's respecting my spiders, unfortunately. But that'll be on cooldown. So if they want to come and get them, they can. The Roll can fairly safely fight the carrion birds. If the dragon attacks, it'll be about here, and then can the spiders reach? No. So I gotta move the spiders into position to take advantage of that. This will finish off the birds. No. Okay. This will finish off the birds. Okay. And now everyone can be gathered up because the dragon's already used its breath. This isn't about not losing troops, this is about not losing everything. And even that might be asking for too much. Okay. That is as good as we could hope for, right there. I think I just need to start wailing on them. And... okay, they have lifesteal, yeah. And just keep wailing. Is that they are fearsome. Every time they're attacked, the enemy unit has a chance to be panicked. Panicked units don't obey orders and attempt to run from enemies. Yeah, so the spider has to kill this thing. Now I get a big spider in the... okay. Let's just take a look at what manticores are like to remind myself. So they hit, yeah, 20, yeah, highest damage in the game. And they have Guard Breaker. They are scary. 98 health. I actually do fairly good damage with the Hornet Swarm. I don't think it's worth it, but I can. And they're also very... the Griffin's faster. But I think if they have above, like, 28 speed, you can't escape on a standard battle map. So, goodbye, Griffins. And that way they don't get any experience. Get out of there. That's nice that they're attacking me, though. I thought they were broken for a bit there. But I guess they're just, they've got some sort of master plan. Something is going on. Urlog is doing all sorts of things. There he goes. Okay, now the city's been shrunk to nothingness. Oh, and he brought his army forward. Wow. We're taking that. And then... moving on. The gargantuan animals... that's not gargantuan animals. That gives me more research, though, and it only takes 3 turns. So that might pay off. Okay. Got ourselves a Bleak Warg. Those are quite... tier 2. Yeah, but still they're quite good, I think. I think the only way... yeah, I have to attack and avoid the Shadow Stalkers. Well, it's not the only way I win, but it'll make it a lot easier. These will reinforce whoever dies, I guess. And yeah, let's equip our stuff. So we've got... that helps with backstab, whereas this makes your hits much nastier. Actually, this would be nice on the Goblin, who is standing right next to me. I can just drop it on the ground, and you can pick it up. And then I guess I'll send it to Groshang. And the other item that arrived was a bow. That's fine. Got ourselves some scoundrels who took my fort in this scoundrel village here, which I hadn't noticed. Maybe I... Well, I have to commit now, even if I shouldn't have used up the spellcasting points. And yeah, time to... So this way, I can deal with the Shadow Stalkers separately, and I can get rid of their leader as well when they're weaker, which is nice. But I do have to keep an eye out for assassination. Cities don't have nearly as good defense as they do after the expansions. Because you can't just sit outside the city walls after the expansions because cities rain attacks down upon you. Okay. So you can take out the walls. You can help take out the walls. You can absorb some arrow fire. You can help with their ranged units. You would be great for leading the charge. Need a healer. So the thing about what they've done before the DLC fixed it, I can just sit here healing all my troops basically, and I'll bring you back to actually do that to some degree. Always nice to take the walls where they're not defended. Where is my shaman? Ah, there they are. The opposite side from where I want them to be. I guess you can rush over to them. And I'll get you heading towards climbing those walls. You're good. You can join that force. You're good. Join the wall breaking down group. You're good. Raptors fall back actually a bit. And you're good. Guess you can just absorb some hits. I think you're going to be on spellcasting duty fairly heavily for the first bit here. Do I want to bless anyone's items to begin with a Starblade? Is that only melee? No, it is ranged as well. That could be devastating on the High Elves. On the Longwoman. You're going to be doing a lot of spellcasting too, probably. Hunter Spider. Actually, if I just do that, then you can... Ah, you were ones I mind controlled instead of taming. Instead of summoning. It's a little confusing. If I do that, you'll be in pretty good shape. Good, good, good. Bring you as anti-air. What do you call that? Is artillery? Yeah. Okay. I believe bards can tame animals. Maybe at a higher level? Huh. Maybe not. You'd think that would be something a bard could do. Music soothing the wild beasts and all that. Just gonna go straight through the wall. Why not? Wargs can start on the gate. Bring some friends in. Chipping away over here. You'll get ready to pop up there with the others. And just gonna head over the walls. They're not even trying to stop me. Which is good for me. Okay. 100 spiders, get over here. There you are. You're good to go. Go tell your friends. You will be very handy for breaching the wall on that side. Now I could start hopping over the walls, but I think I'd rather just be a sort of threat for them to respect and not get completely overwhelmed. Hornet Swarm won't do as well against the goblins as other races, but it should still do a bit of damage. Yeah, especially against the birds. Range over here? No. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Gotta be careful not to have him get completely overwhelmed. Now I can take over the birds, actually, with the apprentice, in theory, because... Or is that only magic origin? Maybe it's only magic origin. They are summoned. Wait, Julia. Sundrin. Very carefully. And I don't know what happens if I get charmed. Like, do I also instantly lose, or does it at least let me try to take them back from that? Ooh, if they charm my trolls, that would suck. And those ones charmed my animals. Maybe charm just works on animals. So who did that? That was those goblins there. It'd be rather bad if the trolls got charmed. So I'm going to want to bring those down. Before they do anything crazy. Spiders are in. Help defend my friends a bit there. I'll just bring these up to be a nuisance. Another Hornet Swarm would be nice if I had the mana. Still don't want to send the Queen in to get surrounded by, or the Hunter Spider Baby to get surrounded by crows. They're not the strongest things, but they're not weak either. Okay, can someone get over the wall to get rid of that mind control? Not so much, huh? Rather not kill my own unit, but I might have to here. We've got a quick dash, we've got a magic fist. I could do it. Hey. Okay, big spider stick behind Damon. Stick with him at the very least. We're good. It's funny, they're not really meant to be healers, but I've resigned and, like, he could be doing devastating stuff on the front line, but he's just doing all the healing because that's all I have right now. I should get a human town. That would help a lot. Start getting some priests. I risk 100 there. No, not really. And where are the swarm darters at? That's an untouchable. And that's a... Actually, are the bards here too? Give me a bard. They're all dead at this point. Guess we'll find out in a bit. Serpent. Something for them to attack. A little bit of cover. Okay. Yeah, it's the flanking that's the real threat from the crows. Flying units in general. But I think the crows also backstab on top of that. I hope I didn't like that spider. I wasn't paying too much. Yeah, I liked this spider, not that spider. So that's good at least. I think the crows can even get life-stealing. Well, I guess they can just visit structures that give them life-stealing, and they become quite nasty with their first strike. Get you there. And you can handle her one-on-one, probably. She have... No, she does not have some sort of horrible stab ability. That's good. The crows. Storm badgers over here. I think I'll send the wargs in, even if they die. Just, oh, they didn't. So much the better. And oh, they're still going. Where's Trismegistus? Omlik? Where you at? Oh, you're right there. Can you give me a bard? You can. Do stuff with this. Like block my path off. I'll just start bashing, because I'm going to have to attack this place again, right? So I might as well break the gates as much as I can before the next fight starts. Theoretically, I shouldn't kill off Shagna until I've destroyed all the gates, but yeah. I don't want to do that. There's some crows I didn't notice. Okay, nice. Just have to keep them alive until the end of battle now. And I think that's everything they have, so probably safe to just go in here. Fight her hand to hand. Help a little bit if I have no gates. And both of these fighters need some experience. Alrighty. What did we do? We lost a vamp. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we got ourselves another Dread Spider. Now just 2 Shadow Stalkers, a Succubi, and a Big Beetle. So that's quite a strong army, but we have our own, well, our bards over there, so it's not coming into fight, I guess. It is a strong army, and it's an army that's quite good at taking down heroes. Shadow Stalkers aren't... The scary thing about Shadow Stalkers isn't fighting them, it's about not knowing where they are. Once you know where they are, you're in okay hands. I believe they're magic origin creatures, possibly. They're immune to mind control. Ooh. That's gonna try to get me a Shadow Stalker. This is where I've got to be very careful. And where Starblades will make a huge difference, actually. Where are my longbows? They got left behind. Okay, who wants to be on Shadowstalker killing duty? Trolls. Unfortunately, these aren't my gold level trolls. But I can supplement that, I guess, with a couple buffs. Make them almost like a gold level troll. These queens will need healing. And Shadowstalkers are also incorporeal, so I'm not going to be able to web them. And most of my attacks won't hurt them, except for Nomlik. Spooky fellas. Like I said in the previous episode, strongest tier 3 in the game. Now that they've nerfed the dwarves anyways. Okay. So I think the thing to do here is to have some units for them to attack so they come forward. The units I don't care about. Like my initiates. Storm Sisters are quite good, though. It might be worth getting them to evolve, but that's like my entire army. Everyone's better when they evolve. The Shaman would do pretty good against Shadowstalkers as well, as long as I don't get completely surrounded. And the Apprentices would do quite well. But the problem is that they'll also get killed fairly quickly by them. So I need to keep them protected. Protected, but one space away in case they get mind controlled and then start webbing me. Shock Serpents round. Get these guys healed. Starblades, of course. But also, just taking out these ranged units, I think, will be nice. All the Shadowstalkers are probably coming around here to try to get me from the side. Where I'm, because this is a much more vulnerable flank. Okay, good. They didn't come in to help out their untouchables. I will do my best to touch them. To move back to safety. My trolls moving up further. What works? What I quick dash. Yeah. Quick dash plus the trolls could do some serious damage. Not bad. And a belated layer of spiders. Or when the Shadowstalkers come. Ugh. It's a horrible image, isn't it? I don't know why I didn't use fire there. That was one of those things where I just expected fire to be automatically selected for some reason. And that's the sort of thing that you learn if you have to restart an entire scenario from a misclick. You start very much taking that to heart. That's one of the things I gave up by not just losing everything. But maybe there's other ways to learn that same lesson. Why did I do that? Learn that same lesson. Yeah, you're safe if you stand here-ish. And I don't think this will work on them. No. But they have no doubt in their mind. A bit of divine protection could go a little ways to prevent ice. There go the kobolds. You can handle the spiders, sort of. That's good. You should be able to do some damage. Problem is getting close is scary. If I go for fire, line of sight is blocked by the serpents, is it? Or is it by the... Yeah, okay. Move up. And the spiders blocking the way. So move the spider. And then I need another flank on these guys. And another flank. Then you can do a bit of damage. You can do a lot. You can finish those off. You can grab me those. But then in turn, there's something for them to hit at least. That gets tricky here. Those spiders, I mean, yeah, those big spiders. The raptors would die if they tried to defend them. Do you have... No. Anyone have anything? I can quick dash them out of there. Problem is if the trolls start like busting down the wall, and these guys will hop down behind the trolls. So the trolls need to be ready from all angles. The raptors would do good damage against these shadow stalkers, but they'd also take even more damage. So like a bit of a glass cannon here. Ooh. And that's the power of a bunch of tier 3s. Lucky if I just went straight in there. Ooh, these vampire spider babies I do not want to lose. You can't finish them off. You can get the flank, that's good. Yeah. That's the beetles dealt with. You can get in there and do a little bit of damage. Takes so much. That's a decent amount. And then won't kill me. That just leaves the big beetles, right? Sundrin might be able to convince to lead a better life. Oh, okay, I had the chance. And that leaves those guys, who I will kill with my serpent. Okay, we just lost 5 units, including the kobold. It's fairly good, all things considered. Who wants to go take down a camp of bandits? I think Thundrin and troll. And the serpent. And who else could do with some experience here? I guess Reskar can come, because he can fly, so it won't take him very long. A city awaits its fate. This is a goblin city. I am evil, so it's a good thing to do. Well, it's an evil thing to do, which is good. Rashak, the sharp-edged, my sorcerer. Do you already have true sight? I don't appear to. I think I do want harmonizing energy. True sight isn't an option. Actually, where's that dragon town? It's right there. Reskar should be heading for the dragons. So I will send the shock serpent as backup then. It's my bandit slaying army, and everyone else will go get me some dragons. Hey, might would come in handy for sure, especially against shadow stalkers. Still heading over there. You guys wounded. They're heading back. You're just making me whatever gold you can. We've got a tiny bit of mana left to go for the voice rune. Yeah. And I guess she'll have to come back and take this place back, because that was actually giving me quite a bit of stuff. Alright. That's that. Mind if I do? Get me out of here. Come on. Get me out of here. Keep an eye on that army. I'll sneak around this way. Well, take your time. Move your troops one at a time. I think that's actually how the AI does move their units, is one at a time. And make them take a little while if the animation speeds aren't quick. And there's no way to change that, eh? Like, it doesn't look like it. This guy's just gonna... Ooh, I could maybe take that fortress and get me whatever that is. Where did that spider come from? I guess you get 1 experience per turn. So it was just enough to... Okay, that works. Funny that dread spiders are leaders instead of the elite troll. I don't know what it bases it on. Okay, just a little bit more defended. And you can have a sword, which you probably won't use for a long time, but you have it now. So this was recorded in March of last year. So this is now July of the year after this was recorded. And my voice still hadn't recovered by then. I still hadn't gotten the antibiotics I needed to let me talk. And it was very difficult for me to record. I had to make sure everything was right, that there was no distractions. Because if I had the slightest bit of stress or worry, like, oh, someone's going to walk in or someone's going to make a loud noise and that's going to throw off my recording, my throat would start hurting. And because I would strain my voice trying to project into a microphone, I also wasn't as knowledgeable about how to speak into a microphone, right? So those were my concerns at the time. And I think what happened here was construction or something along that line started up right near the end of the episode. And so I just gave up on talking, and my throat was probably hurting, or at least I didn't want to try to strain myself. So I thought I'll just, like, tack on an ending later, and I don't think I ever did. So here I am now recording just an overview of what happened and why there's no outro to this episode, basically. And so I thought I'd just watch with you guys and see what I did. And also, I'd like to comment on the fact that it's crazy however many... what would it be? It's like 15 months later, and my life is so much different. I couldn't work. I was in so much pain. I couldn't take care of myself. And I still have troubles in the morning talking. I'm still tired, and my voice is still weak, and I still stutter and stumble through my words because I'm out of practice talking, basically, even though I've been talking since about mid-September now, regularly. And I have a job that's based around talking now. I'm a coach, so a lot of talking is involved in there. And I also do interviews and stuff. Like, it's not just coaching, but interviewing elders in the community and that sort of thing. So a lot of talking, and then I'm doing all the recording as well. But I'm not there yet. Neurons haven't regrown or whatever it was, because I didn't talk for like 2.5, 3 years, right? So it's definitely a big thing to remember how to do. And I took the amoxicillin, which won't be the cure for everything, but it was like 3 days, and I was feeling so much better. And then I still got a lot of things I want to work on, but 3 days and I was feeling so much better. And then like a week later, well, it took me like a month or two to really get through it, and then my physical, like my arms and stuff, they took longer. I guess I talked through the whole video, but yeah, I'm feeling much better, and so I'm happy to be here. And I'll see you next time. You take care. I hope you get what you need as well. Cheers.